Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Queer Ultimatum Season 2. This is episode 8. So we have 8, 9, and 10, and then we're done with the show. After this, I'll be doing Love is Blind UK, and I'm very excited to go through that with you guys. And of course, for members on YouTube, I am reviewing BoJack Horseman. So if you guys are interested, please check that out. My name is Brittany Simon. We do philosophy through pop culture. So we're using real people's lives to learn more about ours. So let's see what we learned today.
I think that we don't talk a lot about you also wanting control because I am such a control freak.
My control comes from insecurity. Just realizing that a lot of it's coming from upbringing. That period of your life that you're growing and you're becoming a little human is so impactful of who you become. And I'm the person that I am because I didn't get certain things. The people that brought me into this world are fucking ashamed of me. Nothing I do is enough because I'm with a woman. It's like my self-worth is nothing. You're in love with someone else now.
But that doesn't detract from our love. I know that that's hard to hear.
Okay, let's stop here and kind of assess. So Haley and Pilar are talking about their relationship. Pilar is being very vulnerable and talking about her upbringing, not having a family that talks to her, not having a family who can be involved. And the thing that stands out for me is sort of like this idea that she's like, but you're in love with someone else now. And though Haley agrees, yes, she's in love with someone else, but that doesn't take away her unconditional love for Pilar. It does make me wonder, like, what were the last 10 years for? You know how we do philosophy through pop culture? We're talking about introspection, extrospection, okay? You guys know I'm working on my own philosophy framework called The Levels, links in the description. It's ongoing. But this is what I'm so interested in is like, how did you go 10 years in a relationship and not tackle these things? They're heading into their 30s, right? I think they're both 29. Where is it? Yeah, they're both 29 and been together for 10 years. I understand because before 30, like I really wasn't solidified in my values or who I was. I was really a mess, so I'm totally there sympathetically, right? But it's interesting that together as a team, they weren't figuring it out because I know I was going from relationship to relationship, job to job, figuring out who I was. I'm trying to figure out what were they doing the last 10 years because it feels like these conversations should have already been happening, but they're not at fault for not having them until now. It's just interesting that they manifested into this situation. It's just so interesting how our lives go so differently. Sometimes I think we want this love from our parents that we have to like accept isn't available to us in the way that we would like. Like, yeah, would I love it if my parents were progressive and like we could get on the phone and talk about how much we hate this administration together? Yes, vibes. But I'm never going to have that. And so what I learned in therapy was to value that my parents were their own people on their own journey. And that at the end of the day, what they did had nothing to do with me. Like, yes, they brought me into the universe. And yes, it would be so great to have their love. But at the same time, like the love I do have from them, which I think is authentic and real, isn't the one that necessarily necessitates an intimate kind of, I want to say like not friendship, but being in communion with them. Like, I really do think my parents love me. I just don't think that they know what to do or are willing to deconstruct their own bigotry in order to have a deeper relationship with their kid. But like, that has nothing to do with me. I didn't cause that. I'm not the reason for it. My gayness is not there. Like, it's not a problem. That's their problem. And I think once I learned that, it freed me. It allowed me to not burden myself with the fact that it was my responsibility to get them to see me. It was my responsibility to accept that they couldn't see every aspect of me. And that's a journey.
I don't want you to be with me because you're like, this is all I've known for 10 years. If you genuinely feel like you felt something that you haven't, like I encourage you to do that because I love you. And like in the end, it's not us. So be it. But like,
I think that's a really good way to enter into this social experiment is accepting that at the end, they might not be together.
I really do believe in us. And like, it's always been us. And I think our love is so special that like, I'm not going to give up on it.
Yeah. This whole, like, I'm not going to give up on it. And she goes on to say, until you stop, tell me to stop, which is a good consent boundary. But I would say that it's difficult because Haley's the one who gave the ultimatum. So Pilar, it's interesting that you needed this experiment to figure it out. I don't want Pilar to also say, like, I don't want the narrative to be Haley fell in love with Megan, so that's what it was. Because again, Haley's allowed to date Megan and realize they're not high compatibility partners as well. Because I don't want the story to be in any of their heads. Let's say they break up, Megan and Haley get together, then they break up and Pilar goes, see, wow, you left me for Megan and you guys didn't even end up together. Guys, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're not really getting to the root of the miscompatibility, like we're not really getting to the root of the problem here, but that's more than likely to happen. It is more likely to happen that they will break up, Haley and Megan will date, and then they will break up. Then they will be together. That's just numbers, right? But at the same time, I just think the narrative has to stop being, you know, what you did versus what I did and who won the relationship and who lost in the relationship and who, it should just be like, what is everyone's joy?
I'm sorry that I hurt you. It's very confusing for me. It's the most uncomfortable experience I've ever had. Whenever I'm comfortable, I just run. I walk away. I want to give this everything so that I can be as informed as possible when I walk away from this experience. So I feel like I have no regrets. I have no questions. I'm so happy to be with you.
Oh, Megan said, I'm so happy to be with you.
I feel like you're my home, my comfort.
Oh,
I didn't realize how much I missed it.
damn. What happened? What happened between the matching tattoos conversation and this? I missed you so much. Oh no. Hey, you know, it's the same thing that like you think you're done with your toxic relationship. You're like, I'm never gonna call her again. Like I'm over her. And then boom, you're back in the same room together and somehow it feels like all of the happy chemical emotions come back and all of a sudden you guys are humping again.
I straight up gave up. I straight up lost hope.
We know.
I'm not here to like justify like what I did, but I guess like I just wonder if like I didn't have those encounters with you, if I would have had what I had with Haley, like sexually.
That's what bothers me is that I think that's exactly true. The Megan I know would have never done what you did.
What?
You didn't have to go like invest in someone else. You didn't have to go have sexual relationships with someone else. You just threw it all away and effed off and didn't care that like you had committed to an experience that involved a 3-week span of time with me after this. You just thought about yourself.
What's happening? They're turning it around on Megan again. Megan's doubting herself again.
It was a test and you failed.
I don't want
Uh-oh, now it's all Megan. Now it's not okay, hold on.
you to invalidate my experience. I feel like I had a lot of growth.
You
and I had
did.
a genuine connection with somebody.
You did have
And
growth.
like, yes, it led to like sexual relations, but that wasn't the basis of my connection.
It doesn't make it better. You opened your heart to someone. Actually, the worst part.
See, that's so interesting. So Dana is making the claim that Megan opened up her heart more to Haley, but then Mel opened her heart up more to Dana. So from Mel's perspective, I wonder if she understands that Dana was holding off in a sense. I don't know. Dana feels like the kind of person who like almost like bullies people into being vulnerable and then goes like, but I'm not as vulnerable with you, which is a protective mechanism, right? She probably learned that growing up to like encourage other people to be vulnerable, but to hold off on her own or something.
I guess like I'm kind of confused because it's like you had sexual stuff with Mel. It might not have been every single thing like what Haley and I did, but like you were still sexual with Mel too.
Oh, so now, okay, somebody in the comment section said this, that I bet they're all defining sexual activity differently. Some people were like, oh, we just kissed. Some people are like over the chest stuff. Some people are like over the pants stuff. Some people are like in the pants stuff. So everyone's debating like, did you have sex or not? So she's saying you also did stuff with Mel, and Dana's like shaking her head, and Megan's like, well, it might not have been the same stuff, but you did stuff. See how language can change, you know, oh, did you have sex with this person? Well, what do you mean by sex?
You know, and you had an emotional connection with Mel too.
But it was not sexual like you. Kissing and stuff is not like, it's not like that. It was a comfort thing. Less than a it's just different. I need surety that you're not gonna turn your back on me, give up on us. Like you're
Was it just kissing? Was it just kissing?
writing for me no matter what's going on because you know who I am and you know what we have.
As much as I want to show you that like I can be that person, I need you to know that if you hurt me, I'm not gonna be that person.
Damn, there you go. Like, I wish they were using like healthy and unhealthy terminology. Like, I don't know if Dana, if I told Dana like, hey, you need therapy, you're a toxic person. Like, I don't feel like you're a very healthy person. I wonder if she would be like, yeah, no shit. Like, I grew up badly. Well, then what do you think this means in terms of impacting your relationship? Like, guys, you can't be toxic in a vacuum. It's going to impact people around you. And it might impact people in ways you might not think of. Like, one of the ways my toxicity played out a lot in my friendships is, and now that I'm diagnosed autistic, I know that a lot of it was my autism as well. Is like, let's say my friends were coming into town to go to the dungeon and they were like, hey, I'll be there in 2 hours, 3 hours. And then I get ready and I'm very like on time. I'm very like sitting and ready to go. And then they call me and they would say, hey, Britt, like, we're actually going to be a couple hours late. Like, it would ruin my whole night. Like, it would ruin my whole night because I was like, I already transitioned into going out. Now I have to transition into waiting. I planned my meals around this. Like, I would plan my whole night around like punctuality, and it would like ruin my day. So instead of like being able to process it as like, hey, human's gonna human, instead I would be like, oh, and then I would call them back like 45 minutes later and be like, you know what, guys, you don't even worry about it. I wanted to see you, but if you haven't left house yet, if you haven't started getting ready, I would say like, because they would come in from far away, I'd say like, you know what, don't even bother. Driving into Seattle sucks. Why don't we just call it a good night, and I'll see you guys next weekend. My tummy's been hurting anyways. I would like downplay it I would like give them an out and they'd be like, oh, okay, thanks. Like we didn't really want to come into town anyways, but they wouldn't realize. They would think that I was doing them a favor by giving them an out, but actually I was like literally crushing under the weight of like a disappointment. And so your toxicity can play out in ways that don't even impact other people, but in some ways don't allow your friends and family to see how vulnerable you are. So I wasn't allowing people to see how vulnerable I was. And at the same time, I don't do that now. Now, this Brittany, after therapy, after all the stuff, like, yeah, I'm not going to like ruin, it's not going to ruin my whole day for you to switch plans on me, but it could in some ways, depending on how it happens, definitely bring out like a frustration from like an autistic frustration about like transitioning, but I'm better at it. At least I know what's happening. How you think of your toxicity is going to change how you interact with people. And hopefully we're doing better. Hopefully we're trying to get healthier. So if I went to Dana and I said, how do you think your toxicity is impacting your family and friends? Like, I wonder if she would understand that means you have to help yourself. You have to get better. Like, if I know that I'm being toxic, I also know I have to do something about it. But some people don't think they have to do anything about it. And I think we have to remember that.
Hello.
Hello. Hi. I'm so happy you're here.
Okay, so this is Ashley's sisters. One's a twin, one's not.
Honestly, our first week back together was horrible. And I kind of thought out of everyone else here that we had the least amount of like problems. It's like, wow, we do have a lot of unpacked things.
She wants to think about things and I need physical touch and reassurance that you're still in love with me and you're not going to leave me and abandon me.
I've been trying to sit here and figure out like why it's so hard for me to like do things for her like that. That's
If you keep feeling that way, then you should not even be together, in my opinion.
Oh, I agree with that. I wonder if the sisters like Marita for Ashley. But yeah, I think if it's that hard to do something for your partner, it's probably like not coming naturally enough for you, like for a reason. You should deconstruct it, of course.
There's issues going on with both of you, and until you both get on the same page, it's just never gonna work.
True.
We're trying to get on the same page, and like we have in the past 3 days, which has been good. Like
Right.
we've finally had good days, just showing up for each other, trying
And I know
to
you
be
guys
real.
love each other. Like,
Yeah.
there's no doubt in my mind that you don't both love each other. Like, that's not it. I just think that
We're two different
Yeah.
people that
Yeah.
handle things differently.
differently, yeah. Because you want to feel how you want to feel in a relationship, and and if it's forever, then don't accept anything less than exactly what you want.
Yeah, interesting. I'm curious how what the girls think about them together. Yeah, I mean, they are just different people. It happens, you know?
And I need to like look at the smaller things and like really appreciate this time that I do have with her, because like we're never promised like a tomorrow.
Right.
But in the same sense, like I do feel like I know what I deserve.
We want you to be so happy.
Yeah, the language of I know what I deserve is always so hard for me. Deserve feels like entitlement versus like, I know people don't mean it this way. I think this is my autism. I know people don't mean deserve like entitlement. In terms of a relationship, I don't feel like I am entitled to affection or love. I feel like for us to remain a healthy and happy couple, it has to be something we want to give willingly. The willingness to be affectionate and love each other is the point I'm trying to make in all of this. Like, it is of my own will that I wish to be this. It is of my own will that I fulfill this sort of like symbiosis with you. It's like a desire comes from within out, and it just feels like Ashley doesn't want to do this. It's not coming from her. It's coming from Marita is the disconnect. But the question is, why doesn't Ashley want to do it? And I think again, it could just be that Ashley's the meanest, horriblest, worstest person ever, or it could just mean that it's so anti her nature that it actually is like, it's anti her joy. And you don't want it to be anti your joy. Like, it is from my joy that I'm happy to show up, but I can show up the way that I can show up because what my partner requires me is something that feels so natural for me to give. I'm not in a position where my partner has asked me to give something I literally can't give. I don't know what it would feel like from Ashley's perspective, though I guess I definitely have dated people in the past that wanted me to show love in ways I couldn't. I tried. Like, I had a partner at one point who really liked board games and like board game nights. And I didn't really care for board games or tabletop games, but I would like try to host and I would try to show up. But honestly, I just liked the social aspect of it. But I really didn't like playing the games. And it felt in that way forced. Like, I did force myself to play games. And I think it sounds silly, but it did cause issues. Like, my partner plays video games. I don't really play video games. I think in ways we meet each other in the middle because I can play Nintendo games. So we play Nintendo games together because that I grew up with. I can do that. But it's one of those things where if my partner was like, it would be really meaningful to me if you joined a weekly game of D&D or a weekly game of video games with me and my friends, that'd be meaningful. I'd be like, oh, that would be so hard for me. And I'm really lucky that my partner isn't making that request of me. But to somebody else, that might be like, what's the big deal? Just play games with them once a week. But I think that's the way I'm trying to relate it to Ashley, is like she's being asked to do something that like it feels really hard. Like it feels like I don't want to do it. Now, I will say in my relationship, and I don't know how yours is, in my relationship, we try to do exactly what we want every day. We sleep when we want, we're awake when we want, we do what we want. Like we don't have to do things together. Like, you know, if they wake up, my partner wakes up and wants to do something today, they tell me what they're doing. And then when I wake up, I tell them like, here's what I'm doing today. And then I go, okay, when do you want to do stuff together? In other words, I just want to have a relationship personally where I get to live my life the way I want to live it with somebody who's similar enough or able to live the life they want to live at the same time. Because we're individuals in a unit. We're both things at the same time, right? So it has to work together. And it feels like these two people are so themselves, but they don't work as a unit. And that's it. That's just the reality of what I'm seeing.
I struggle to see myself in a very long-term committed relationship. I've never seen a happy married couple in my immediate life. When I was growing up, after my grandma passed, I lived with my uncle and his girlfriend. She would use me to help crack his passwords on the computer so that she could find out if he's like cheating.
Yo, toxicity, bro. That's sad. That's sad not to have an example of a relationship that's healthy. That's so hard. So I really sympathize with Mel here. That is so difficult.
The cops were at our house every day because they were physically getting into it with each other.
Jeez.
My home life was very tumultuous.
See, that's really, really hard. That is hard. I wonder if Mel's gone to therapy.
Do you think we would be like them?
I don't know.
I mean, you've been together 4 years. Wouldn't you know by now?
I don't think we would be like them. I get it. I mean, I understand the fears behind it. I think if you break it down, it really becomes into like the smaller things. I mean, 4 years of being together, it's a daily choice to choose one another. And
let's talk about that. People keep talking about that. Like, I choose my partner every day. Yeah, but kind of like you choose your job every day. It's not actually every day. Like, I hope you're not every day choosing your job, literally. Like, I don't choose YouTube every day. I know she's going to be there in the future. Same with my marriage. I don't have to choose it every day. It's there. Just the same way I don't choose myself every day because I'm consistent. But I will say at some point in your recovery, I do think you have to choose actively every day because you're learning to like rewire your brain and have a different relationship with yourself. But I think the good news when you start to heal is that every day becomes so consistent that as long as you're checking in and making sure you're on top of it, it's going to be so much more natural. It's not going to be a concern every day about, it's not going to be literally like picking. If we think about it as a literal concept, it would be kind of exhausting to every day be like, hey, are we going to be together today? Okay, cool. That's what it kind of sounds like. Like, hey, tomorrow, let's check in at 10 a.m. just to make sure we're still married. It's like, yeah, we're married.
some days are easy, some days are hard, but it's about our relationship and what we make of it. And you say that you don't see marriage as something that ends up well. Maybe you could be the first.
Maybe Marie shouldn't be with somebody who's not in a place to get married. This is the difference between my 20s and my 30s. In my 20s, I would have dated something like this. You know, maybe someone who wasn't sure, maybe someone who's figuring it out. In my 30s, when I started dating to get married, I wouldn't have even entertained this. She's been with you for 4 years. She's still not sure if she wants to get married. What are we even talking about? What are we doing here?
We aren't them. I thought loving you so fiercely would make you feel safe.
What are some things that make you feel safe?
Love makes me feel safe. Trusting someone makes me feel safe. Check-ins.
Those are things that make me feel the most unsafe.
Yeah, this is above our pay grade. Like, I'm so dead serious. You need a professional. You need a therapist. You somebody who is very well informed about generational trauma. Like, this is above your girlfriend's pay grade. This is above your friend's pay grade. This is above your mother's pay grade. You have got to talk to a professional. If my friend was in this position, I could not help them. They need to talk to a professional because this is bigger than just like who you are as a person. This is a human being who experienced so much trauma. They have to unlearn all of that behavior, unlearn all of those safety mechanisms, all those coping mechanisms they created to actually even get to the point of healing, to be a real person, like an actualized person, right?
The second you fully trust, love, and care about someone, what does that set you up for?
Success if it's mutual. And happily ever after if it's mutual and healthy.
It sets you up for unconditional love, for great Christmases, great memories, best half birthdays. It sets you up for a lifetime.
But if you have avoidant attachment, if you're scared, if you're anxiously attached, if you're worried about if you have all of these problems, then it actually sets you up for a divorce in your 40s. So I warned Marie in thinking that her and Mel are so compatible because at the rate they're going, it sets them up for a divorce. And then Mel will be reassured and said, see, I knew it. I knew you left me. We're divorced. We're not together. Because if you end up with the wrong person, you will get divorced. You will feel lonely in your marriage. You will, engage in bad behavior. Like ultimately, we are all marrying the wrong people all the time. That is why the divorce rate is the way it is. That's why people are lonely. They're not feeling connected because we are forcing ourselves into relationships that we should have dumped. And not because we don't like these people, but because it's not good for us. We know they're not supposed, like, can't you tell? Like, no, this isn't it. This can't be it. This is not the thing that makes a healthy 50-year marriage. It might make a toxic 50-year marriage, but this isn't the thing that makes a healthy 50-year marriage. I'm sorry.
My life has always been chaotic, and that's what I'm used to. So it's not that I don't think I deserve safe and stable. It's just I don't know if that's what I want.
I didn't really know what to say to that.
Go to therapy. That's what I would say to that. Because fair, but yeah, when you grew up toxic and you're used to chaos, sometimes peace feels bad, which brings us back. Remember that YouTuber asked me, how do you know you won't get bored in your relationship since it's so healthy? When you're used to chaos, when you're used to toxicity, when you're dopamine chasing, sometimes healthy looks boring because you don't know what peace is yet.
I'm trying to not take the confusion personally because I genuinely keep coming back to the fact of like you were just seen in a way that I wasn't seeing you.
It's hard to just have like the one side of trying to put things together about like why things happened, how things happened, was it real, was it not?
Pilar and I went out to a club, and while we're there, we see Megan and Dana, and it's the first time that I'm seeing Megan in public. Megan didn't even look at me. And then on a whim, I heard a song that I liked, and I just like sent it off to Megan, and then Megan was like, hey, I think that we need to like cut all contact. Not a good feeling.
Damn. Uh-oh. I mean, I guess it makes sense for the experiment, but also it hurts. And this goes back to initially when Dana ignored Megan. Y'all keep ignoring each other and repeating patterns, and then you sit there and think like, don't you think that's interesting that everyone keeps repeating a pattern?
And develop feelings for them, and then you're not allowed to talk to them.
And now Haley's doubting that it was real, and she doesn't know, and now she's confused. Yeah. Uh-oh. See how I said just because Megan and Haley have this thing does not mean they're each other's high compatibility partner.
But I think like you do need to talk to Haley alone.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Now that I'm more clear on like the boundary I want to have with her, like I want to reiterate it and like make sure everyone's clear and make sure like the respect is there.
Yeah.
I think that you need to get really intentional and clear about what you want to say.
See, but that's something that I also am concerned about because it's like friends can support each other.
But
like,
right
is it
now,
too early?
the relationship isn't appropriate.
Okay, so Megan does want to interact with Haley, but Dana doesn't want her to. Because I was wondering when Haley was telling that story if Megan was doing it because of Dana's influence.
If it needs more time to happen, eventually, I guess
a
my goal.
lot of time.
Yes,
It's not
I'm just
even
saying.
a potentially soon thing for at least for me if you want to be with me.
I've never had anybody like Haley before. I've never dated anybody like Haley. I've never like related to anybody like Haley. And so I just think she's an important person that I would want in my life.
Oh. Okay, in Megan's defense, Dana and Mel got matching tattoos and said they would be in each other's life forever. So I don't know why I wonder how long Dana and Mel are allowed to until they can talk to each other.
I just don't know that the extent of your relationship is like allowing that, to be honest.
I could see a world where both Mel and Dana do not stay in contact and remove their tattoos because I don't even know why they did that in the first place. And two, Megan and Haley not staying friends because as important as it feels right now, it doesn't actually mean you guys need to be friends past this,
I think right now it's too early to tell.
I mean, I just feel like she's shown though that like.
But hold on, I think the intensity of the relationship requires more time to just kind of like come down from that. I don't want to pass judgment on anyone. People do the things they do, and I'm gonna address that at the cocktail party.
So what do you plan to tell her then?
Just the pettiness. Come on, dude. I saw you in the gym. You purposely avoided me, and then you liked my picture. Why the back and forth when I?
She's playing games, bro.
Wait. Whoa. So now she's saying Haley is playing games. Uh-oh. SpaghettiOs.
So don't even start with me. You're acting like I'm being crazy or something.
Because sometimes you
would've
do,
lost
because
your
Dana-
shit. You would have made me call Mel, tell her to get off my Instagram, block her. You know damn well that you would have lost your mind. I'm handling this so well. And do not act like what she did is not crazy. You still have doubts or confusion around Haley.
In terms of like future possibility with her?
Yeah.
No, I think I've gotten a lot of clarity.
You're a very sure person when you're sure of something, and you don't really sound like yourself when you answer that question. So that like is a little bit concerning for me. It's not a little bit, it's a lot concerning for me.
What's happening? This feels like it was cut in a way to confuse me even more.
For me, I'm just kind of like confused about why you can't act the way that we're acting now without actually getting married, right? Or like what actual marriage adds.
So yeah, Bridget's still confused why being married matters. But the fact that you won't get married is the point. What would it matter if we were married or not if you're the love of my life and you trust me? because there are a lot of legal benefits. Right now, gay people are fighting so hard to get married, so hard to have their benefits, and you're acting like it's not the biggest deal in the world that you even have that chance right now, when in the future, it might not be available to you.
The difference is commitment, which means thick and thin, building a life together.
Better or worse, sickness and health.
Do you think Kyle's ready for marriage?
I would say no.
Oh, true. Definitely not. None of these people are ready for marriage.
I mean, I don't think you're secure in terms of job, finances.
Well, why can't I do that while I'm getting married?
Marriage itself is a huge effort, and worrying about money with another person who's also trying to figure out their relationship to money just adds an extra thing.
I agree that if you guys are not on the same page financially, if you have to talk about finances, you have to talk about all of that beforehand, and you have to buckle down and be serious about it. Getting married and combining finances was the most serious thing I've ever done. I've lived with people. I've never shared money. Sharing money just is a totally different game. And so I agree that Bridget, I think, just expressed that they have multiple jobs. I forgot what Kyle does, but that Bridget has multiple jobs, and sometimes she doesn't have money, sometimes she does. I think when you're in a married couple and you're doing life together, you have to figure that out. Do you know what I mean? Like, the commitment game just got higher. The level of expectation just got higher. It's kind of like when you have kids. You know, it's one thing to be single and eating top ramen every night, and it's another thing to have kids and also making them eat top ramen every night. The standard should go up. The expectation should go up. It's not just about you anymore.
Do you think that you guys could go pick a house to live in together, figure out how much you could afford together?
I mean, we're not looking to like buy a home just because we're married.
Just because you're married.
It's not like we're married now, we buy a house.
Because these were all things that I said coming in that were reasons for why I wasn't ready for marriage, which was like that we haven't figured out a lot of other big things.
Yeah.
I think her parents are being a little boomer about it. Like, oh, we're going to get married and buy a house. It's more like, can you get married, find an apartment, live in the city you want, have a job you want, and look for retirement? So my partner and I are in our 30s, and we are focused on retirement. We're focused on our 50s. We're focused on our future life. We're focused on everything we're doing now is for us in 20 years and 30 years, right? So like, we're living for the moment, but we're financially different versus in our 20s. I don't think either of us were ever thinking about 50-year-old us. I think ultimately that's what their parents are trying to say. Like, have you guys started to actually think about the future? And let's see, Kyle and Bridget, they're 30 and 29. Get on it, girls.
That you don't think those things need to be figured out before getting married?
Yeah, I still don't understand why it needs to be figured out.
It's going to be a big fight if you don't. Let me tell you, if you don't sit there and really think about financial stuff. Okay, you're in a marriage. You're no longer single. Your finances are together, right? What does that mean? Oh, pause. That was too far. Do you want to mix finances? Do you want to have two separate accounts? Do you want to mix money? Do you want to share bank accounts? Do you want to have the same credit cards? What do you imagine is your responsibility? What if one partner wants to get a $12,000 nose job and another partner wants to spend $10,000 on a new computer setup? It's like, okay, how's that going into the budget? Oh, one partner wants a house in this city, one partner wants a house in this city. What does that look like? You know? Trust me, as somebody who's dated a lot of people with a lot of fucking weird dreams, some people are like, I want to buy a boat. And some people are like, I want to buy a bus and make it into a house. And some people are like, let's buy land. I remember I was dating this guy at one point and he was like, let's buy land. I was like, oh yeah, let's buy land. And we were not sharing finances. So I would go to work and get really excited and be like, I've been saving. Here's what I have planned out. And then he'd be like, oh, I'm not actually working on that. And I was like, oh, like it was weird. It was like, are we doing this or not doing it? But the truth was like, we were never a team. We were never actually doing it together until now that I'm married, we do it all together. Our goals are our goals together. So individually we have goals, but ultimately as a team, there are team goals. The question is, can Bridget and Kyle create the difference? Do they know the difference between individual goals and team goals? Because finances are team goals. Money is team goals, guys. Money is team goals, period. If I die, what is my partner going to do? If my partner dies, what am I going to do? Sickness and health. What if I lose my job? What if we have to move country? What if we finances are team goals.
A couple is a boat and a sail. You could use more boat.
We could use more
responsibility.
Yeah. And you and Bridget are two artists, which means in my mind, it makes life hard.
It does. If there's two artists in a relationship, that's why I say you have to be careful. Most artists die poor, guys. You do not want to be senior citizens with no living. Okay, I know we live in capitalism. I know it's hell over here, but I worry as a creative myself. Like, I am so seriously thinking about retirement because most creatives don't end up retired. We end up working at 80, 90 years old. And girl, I'm not going to do that. Okay, I only want to do it if I want to do it. I don't want to have to do it because I have to do it. And I've worked with enough old people in my life to know that there's nothing worse than seeing an old person have to work every day. Like, that's just I think that's horrible. And yes, I want the system to protect old people and to give them retirement. And I think the government should be housing people and all of that good stuff. But I'm not going to hold my breath for this fascist country to figure it out. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to hold my breath about it. But in the meantime, I will prepare because I can. And I think that's what we all should be doing, especially when you are a minority or a marginalized person in the world. Like, the system is even more against you. So it's even more exhausting. So just to be so casually, like willy-nilly about marriage and commitment and longevity is almost so privileged. Like, it feels like Kyle and Bridget are living in La La Land. And I'm like, hello? Real life is about to hit you, girl. What are you going to do if World War III breaks out? What do you do if Trump takes this country in a completely different direction? What are you going to do? You know, it feels like there's no seriousness. And there's la 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 la. It just feels so silly. I agree with her parents in that regard. Like, I agree with the sentiment that it feels like, where's the seriousness, you know?
I think maybe I'm just scared that one day you'll wake up and you'll know that you can do better.
Ooh, okay. AJ and Brittany having a serious conversation. AJ said, I'm just worried that one day you'll wake up and realize you could have done better. I think when you're in the wrong relationship, you can always do better. I think when you're in the right relationship, there is no one better. And I think AJ has the right to fear this if there's any part of her that thinks that they're not high compatibility partners.
You feel like you're not enough? Sometimes.
Therapy also for AJ.
Because like everything that you've built, you've done it so quickly. And I don't want to be someone that just leans on you completely for everything.
Yeah, it's difficult if you have an idea of yourself and then you see your partner being successful. I think what I would ask AJ is, like, do you even want to work? Do you want to be successful? Do you just want a 9-to-5? Do you need to have a business? Not everybody needs to be the person who makes enough money to buy the house. And this is what I say when I say I married somebody who had already tackled their toxic masculinity, because if they hadn't, then we probably would have the same or similar conversations in a sense, because I do make the money. In my former relationships, I did have people say to me like, oh, you'll never respect me until I make more than you. But that's never been true for who I am as a person. That's their problem. This is AJ's problem. AJ is the one with the issue. And I'm saying you need to deconstruct that toxic masculinity so you can let Brittany be successful and you can find your own version of success. Maybe it's not working. Maybe it's working a 9-to-5. Maybe it's not building a business. Maybe it's not making enough to buy a house. Maybe it's being a teacher. Maybe it's being an artist. Maybe it's being a community member. Maybe it's doing a nonprofit. Instead of holding yourself to Brittany's standard, you should be holding yourself to the best of your standard, and together the best of your standards come together to build the team.
I want you to see me as your equal in all aspects, not just your love.
Yes, but that doesn't mean you have to be equally making the same amount of money. The whole like girl boss couple, it's a capitalistic fantasy, guys. Don't let capitalism ruin your marriages. Don't let capitalism trick you into thinking your value in a marriage is how much you bring to it. Okay? Money-wise. This is the issue with capitalism, is it convinces AJ she's not good enough because she can't buy a house. But she works, she has a job. So really, this is what needs to be deconstructed, the capitalism of it all. And by the way, because of the patriarchy and the way that it's set up through capitalism, we also have the mirroring of this in straight relationships where men will feel less than if their female partners make more than them, which is why we have to deconstruct this for everybody, regardless of gender, because it is killing our marriages. It is killing our relationships.
I do view you as such. I think you don't view yourself that way.
She said, you're taking that out on me. See how this is like, Brittany can't fix this for AJ. AJ has to fix this within herself. Within herself. This is coming from inside. This is why therapists help us get inside of ourselves, right? And then philosophy and all that other stuff comes into the picture. We start to move it together as like almost like a pathway to fulfillment in a sense. Like AJ isn't actualized within herself, if that makes sense. So like she needs to talk to somebody who can professionally help her dig within herself to figure out where this comes from mental health wise, and then do the philosophy work to actually make her understand her value and what she brings. And does she really value this whole money thing, or is that a value somebody else gave her, like society?
I just want to be more.
Be more. Stop talking about it.
Be more. Stop talking about it. You got to do the right thing. You got to do it in the right way. And I have a feeling that AJ thinks it's about making money. It's not. It's not about making money. This is what I say, the difference between venting and complaining. Venting comes from people that need to blow off steam but are doing the work. Complaining comes from people who don't know what to do next, so they just complain. Do something about it. Go to therapy. Figure it out. Where does it come from? Deconstruct it. Because at some point, this is going to ruin your marriage, if not already, because we're on this show. It already has ruined your marriage. Why are we on this show?
You're everything that I've wanted and everything that I've needed, and I just want us to recognize who we were and what we are for a very long period of time before distractions have came into play. I love you.
I wonder what that's about. What distractions came into play?
You are literally exactly what I prayed for. Living in a world without you is scary.
I'm not sure what to do with that, but let's see what happens. Yeah, deconstruct.
Stressed about talking to Mel. I feel like she's gonna give me a fucking attitude.
I mean, are you afraid of the attitude or are you afraid of something else?
Afraid of the attitude. Because she feels abandoned and betrayed.
I will never like this lady. She's so mean. She's gonna give me a fucking attitude because she feels abandoned and betrayed. Yeah, Dana, you guys got matching tattoos. I'm confused. Yeah, Dana gives me bad vibes. I don't like the way she talks about people. I don't like the way she acts like she's all about love and all about commitment. She projects onto Mel and all these people like, you want to get married. You want this. You want kids. Acts like, oh, she's going to give me attitude. Girl.
I think everybody kind of feels like that from their trial partners right now. Someone was there for you 24/7 and you were their priority and now you're not.
And I think Haley probably feels that way too.
Yes, that's the issue with this social experiment is like you guys in these 3 weeks when you're together are showing up to the best, like in the best way possible, way more than you would in your real life. And so it feels unreal.
But now you're with me. I get it, but like, I feel like she should have known.
I get it too, but it also doesn't change that you feel how you feel, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know what to do with any of that.
What's up, girl? What's up?
Okay, so everyone's talking and hugging. At least it's so awkward, but at least they're acknowledging the other exists.
Kind of the first time we've all seen each other as like our initial couples that we came in here with.
It's weird, right?
There's a little bit of like awkwardness. Do you want to just like get it over with? Not right now. I'll give it a couple minutes.
I miss your cooking. It's been a lot. We kept going on all these dates where we would have fun, but then it turned into literally fighting.
Damn, Ashley said like they've just been fighting so much that she is regretting giving the ultimatum in a sense like she doesn't want to get married now.
Hi. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I feel like you're being so weird towards me.
Dana, you're being so weird. Dana literally was telling Megan, like, do you want to get it over with? Do you want to like confront people or whatever? And then she goes up to Mel and she's like, you're being so weird with me. It's a weird situation. It's a weird situation. Oh, this girl. Okay.
I'm not being any type of way.
Okay. Well, I guess I'm just wondering how you feel towards me now.
I got an impression of you as somebody who was very similar to me. You helped me learn so much about myself. And I tell everybody this, I was like, yes, we grew together. Yes, don't get me wrong, but I think both of us just grew
individually.
Yes, and like supported each other throughout that whole thing. And so with that, I finally met someone who like makes me feel less fucking crazy, more than my partner who's made me feel fucking insane for 4 fucking years.
Oh my God, that's just so heartbreaking towards Marie. If Marie was listening to that and she's like, you feel like I've made you crazier for 4 years? Oh no. What a way to talk about your partner.
So like, what are we doing?
Which, by the way, I've talked that way about my past partners because I was being driven insane, because I was literally in toxic relationships, and I'm glad I got out. My life significantly got better. I'm not convinced necessarily that Marie is the one causing the insanity so much as like Mel's combination of the childhood trauma, right, coming into play, but also they two good people together can make each other crazy. Like nobody has to be the bad guy for the relationship to kind of drive you crazy. Does you know, I keep trying to say that so people may understand, like, I know we have to make a villain out of every breakup. And I'm with you. I could do it all day long. But what if instead we also just admitted that even when there's no villain, the relationship itself isn't meant to be?
I think we talked about before we separated that we knew we would feel abandoned by each other.
When you and I left off, it was, no matter what, Mel, we're gonna still be friends after this. And those were your words.
Okay, but you have to remember, like, Mel, there's the tattoos. Like, also, on top of the tattoos, Megan said that we had a conversation months before coming here that if we made it out of here together, we get a matching tattoo.
Okay, well, you didn't tell me that.
I didn't remember it.
Dana is her sister was a witch. Like there's girl. Mel's blindsided. Megan's blindsided. We're blindsided. And Dana goes, oh, I just didn't remember the tattoo thing. Tee. Girl, please.
You weren't supposed to be involved in these 3 weeks. You were supposed to be dealing with Marie. I was supposed to be dealing with Megan. We can deal with our shit when we have the time, because we may not even end up with these people.
What do you want out of this conversation?
Great question. Great question.
Right now, you're treating me right now how you treat them. Don't talk to me like that.
Ooh, the entitlement from Dana. The entitlement, she's gonna piss me off, bro. She's gonna piss me off.
I'm telling you how I feel.
Well, you don't have any patience. Let's just start there.
Yeah.
Attack, attack, attack.
I'm so sorry if this relationship isn't worth the patience, then you can just say that now. We can.
What relationship? What relationship, Dana?
Door. I'm sorry, I'm just not going for this act. So like, I'm gonna like give you a second to drop it. And if you
I mean, Mel is being a little like, you know, shielded, but Dana is being so weird. Dana's the one being weird.
Want to drop it? I can just go hang out over there. Cause like I'm not gonna bullshit with you right now.
See how she twisted? See how she twisted on it? She hurts people, and then she's like, you know, just because you're hurt doesn't mean you can lash out. Yeah, girl, but you are the one who first hurt people.
I know you ride for me, but I know you also ride for Megan. You know what I mean? It's just, it's hard to...
I'm not going to turn my back on you. I'm so sorry that I can't be there for you right now.
I don't need you here right now. That's not what I need. I just need to know, what are we doing? Why are we even trying?
What we had was very special. You're always gonna be part of me. That's exactly why we got these fucking tattoos. You were there for me. I told you every single thing about me. You know all of my secrets.
Dana says you know all of my secrets. I told you everything. I was so vulnerable with you. You don't think that's weird? You don't think it's weird to tell a girl you just met 3 weeks ago everything about you? And also, it only took 3 weeks?
That you were vulnerable with me, and I never want you to treat me like this again. Like, I never want to see this behavior from you. You know?
What in the... What is happening?
You know what I mean?
Yes, Mom.
Like, you know what I mean?
Because of like how far we went, Dana was in a very hurt place. I wanted to maximize my time with her and make sure that she was my priority.
It felt so jarring for you to cold turkey be like, don't talk to me, just such different energy.
I ran into you at the club and I didn't say hi to you. And I hope that you understood where I was coming from, but I also wanted to set the boundary with you. I want you to respect my trial marriage, you know?
For you to not even look at me, and I know you knew I was there.
I know.
And it was like to not even look in my direction. You treated me the exact same way that you said Dana was treating you during the first.
Exactly, bitch. The same way.
I've known Dana for years before this experience. I need to give it a chance, even if Dana and I are not, to like walk out of here together, or if we are, I need to give myself a full chance. But like, it was a choice that I had to make. It was either Haley or Dana, and I chose Dana.
Ooh, it was either Haley or Dana, and I chose Dana. Well, that's your mistake right there. Should have chosen yourself.
How much Dana not prioritizing you and not acknowledging you in public, that was the thing that hurt you the most. I would never do that. You were like, I would never do that to you. All of your actions don't meet up with your words. You spent 3 weeks making me feel like it was real. And like, for me, it was real.
Showed me she was in love with Haley. Literally, blatantly like that. And I told her I had feelings for Mel. You know, we had like a sexual relationship. Like, we had like all these things. Bro, it's bad. It's like for real shit.
Do you trust Haley?
Hell no.
Girl, look who's talking. What do you mean, do I trust Haley? Look who's talking.
Pilar and Haley came here to leave each other. Absolutely. What? They came here for a reason out, especially her.
These are the girls who think they know what everyone is up to because they're in everyone's business and they still don't have a clue. Shared gossip about things that are true is one thing, but they don't gossip to share information. They gossip to twist on like truths. They're spreading rumors. They're making up rumors. Like, they're not even trying to understand Haley. They're not even trying to understand the situation. They like find a narrative and spin it. And Dana is the queen of it. And Mel's like a little puppy that follows her around. And both of them are complicit.
I mean, Megan knows she got manipulated.
Damn.
Megan knows she got manipulated. Megan knows she got manipulated. Oh my God. I wonder during the reunion how it feels watching this show back. Because girl.
I'm not trying to convince you of who my character is. You know who I am.
I don't know who you are. That's the thing. I don't. I really don't. I really feel like I got to know a completely different person than I saw afterward.
If I had validated what we had, I feel like it would have affected both of our trial marriages.
That's the hardest part, is that I have been so honest with Pilar and like having to tell her, yeah, I fell in love with you, Megan. I just like have not been so open with someone like that ever. And like that heartbreak of realizing that I don't think I knew who you were.
So who'd you fall in love with, right? That's the question. When we think we're in love with someone, are we in love with them or the version of them in our heads?
Because a person that I got to know in those 3 weeks would never have done all these things to me.
I had a very authentic 3 weeks with you. I don't regret anything.
Okay.
I made certain promises that I shouldn't have made.
Okay.
Because I was under the impression there was a point of no return with Dana.
Okay.
And I love you for everything that we've gone through, but I'm not in love with you.
Good. If that's true, the honesty is there. That sucks that Megan only told Haley that she was in love with her because she thought it was over with Dana. Maybe she has a pattern of going from one relationship to another. That's really sad. I feel for Haley now. That's really devastating. But is this true? I don't know why I feel like I can't trust Megan to know her own feelings. It feels like Megan's doesn't ever have enough time to ever know her own feelings. It always feels like everyone is telling Megan how to feel about everything. Like, what does Megan think when she's left alone? Like, completely alone. If I put Megan in a house for 3 weeks by herself, what would she learn about herself?
I don't know why we would be holding each other crying that like this time was ending.
Because it was special.
We fell in love. The things that we went through.
Fell in love.
It's like the backtrack of the century.
This is why I say be careful of the chemistry you feel like you're experiencing, because I can make someone that I've just met feel like so special, and they can do the same to me because we're human beings. We work off energy. Like, guys, drugs can do the same thing. This is why I say, like, this is why conservatives, which we do not like, claim that casual sex is so dangerous. Because, like, guys, you can have a one-night stand with somebody and feel like so connected to somebody because we're biological creatures. We're having a biological experience. So you have to be very, very introspective to say, okay, is it just the orgasm that made me feel powerful and close to you? Is it actually our connection? Is it how good our conversation was? Like, you can have an amazing conversation with a stranger and feel like, holy shit, this is the most amazing experience of my life. It isn't enough. You also have to make sure that you're compatible and you see each other and you understand one another and you know what you're signing up for. People really are just like chasing this feeling. That's why people feel like they're bored in their life and they're chasing this high. You need to have a philosophical, deconstructive relationship with yourself and recognize you are animals on a planet evolved over millions of years. You literally are biologically created to build bonds with people. And you have to make sure you're building the right bonds with people, because otherwise, you know, this whole thing just becomes so messy.
Did I say I was in love with you? I said verbatim.
Multiple times. And when you said it, you looked me in my—
Megan, you said I love you multiple times. Did you not mean I'm in love with you? You said I love you.
My eyes, and you said, I am now realizing I am in love with you. And I said, I am in love with you back. We said it back and forth to each other.
You're making me feel like I'm freaking crazy, Haley.
You're making me feel like I'm crazy.
Producers, we need a clip. Receipts. Netflix, do your thing. Give me receipts.
Stand on your word. If that's what you said and you said that you meant it, mean it.
See, this is the part where Dana's gonna be like, she's manipulating you. You never said that, or you did say it, or whatever. This is where Netflix needs to come in and give me a little bit of a clip. You know, they're filming everything. Show me.
I owed it to Pilar. I owe it to you to like be honest about everything that like has happened. Megan and I did share that like we fell in love with each other. Okay. And that was really hard because now Megan has completely backtracked and like that was never true. And I feel stupid. I feel like, what was I thinking? And like, obviously, like I love Pilar so much that like, I can't believe I did it to her.
Okay, let's hold on. This is very like impersonal and important, but let's pull back for a second. Okay, there are millions of people on the planet that are probably very high compatibility with you, that are probably even like 60% compatible with you. That feels pretty good, right? It's not enough, and it's not necessarily appropriate to, you know, investigate to see if it could be enough. My partner and I say this all the time, like, we're monogamous, right? We're monogamous. It's not like, obviously, we don't know there are other people who we could be just as good with, but to pursue it would be a violation of the intimacy in the boundaries we've set in our marriage. In this social experiment, it becomes permission to experience and to explore it, which creates an opening for what actually makes up polyamorous relationships. Like in polyamory, everyone always says, like, how does it work? This is how it works. You can fall in love with more than one person at the same time, guys. The question is, are you falling in love high compatibility or low compatibility? But for all those people that are like, I don't get how poly works, this is what happens. So again, we're monogamous not because we don't think we can fall in love with other people, but because we've made the decision not to even pursue it, not to put ourselves in a position to pursue other people to fall in love with. We've decided just to be with each other. It's a choice. And the question is like, are people processing it within that framework, or they're not thinking about it that way, probably because they forget, like, how do you think poly happens? Of course you can be in love with more than one person, guys. I hate to tell you this. Falling in love isn't that unique of an experience. You know, you're not special because you're in love. What's really unique and kind of special in a sense is high compatibility, which is what I want for all of you. To have that partnership you're going to have till death do us part, in sickness and in health, and you actually want to be there, and you're not thinking about other people, and you're actually not only in love with the person, but you like them so much as a person. Being so high compatibility that going on the show would be like the craziest thing you could ever do. Like like it would be insane. But see how it's not insane? Because they're not high compatibility. They're like, I'm going to say they're all probably like 60%, 40, they're all like 20 to 60% compatible, which is why everybody's having such a rough time. Nobody's like truly high compatible. Not even Megan and Haley, who I like their energy, but obviously they're not high compatible.
First thing you need to be.
Oh, Dad. Oh, Papa.
I just didn't see it going this way. I mean, I'm sorry.
No, neither did I.
And I know you didn't either. That's a little bit of a twist. It's really hard to be with somebody as much as you guys are together without having some sort of feelings. And then all of a sudden now she's pulling it back and saying, you were totally wrong on that.
Yeah.
She's a disgenuine person.
It just made me feel crazy. Which is like completely crazy.
And now, you know, Megan's going to feel like completely crazy unless Megan was lying. Like, did Megan really feel like she didn't say I love you? Because from the edit, it felt like Megan said I love you. Maybe she didn't say I was in love with you, but it felt like she said she was in love with her.
To know that you put your trust in someone that was so willing to put our relationship in peril just to make her ex jealous.
Ooh, I don't want to think that that's what Megan was doing. I think Megan gets swept up in other people and she's so without values. She's so weak in character that she really lets people around her control her how she feels. I guarantee you, in my assessment, Megan has no idea what she thinks, feels about anything. She is absolutely at the whim of whoever has a stronger personality around her. She doesn't have a backbone, but that's because she doesn't know who she is, which is not that uncommon. Most people I meet do not have a backbone.
I just want to make it clear that I'm not just here for Haley, I'm here for you too.
Oh.
Because I love both you guys like you wouldn't even believe.
Aw.
It's crazy how much I love you guys.
It's just nice to talk to you about it because I don't have a dad to talk about it, so.
Oof, this one's gonna get me, girls. This one's gonna get me.
You being here and talking to you about things has always meant so much to me. You've meant a lot to me, so I know it's hard and it's weird, but I appreciate you. And if I walk out alone, at least I'm whole and I'm proud and I am a better person and
We love this for you, Pilar. I really hope this is a healing experience that encourages everybody to go to therapy. I know I say therapy and everyone thinks it's a buzzword, but finding the right therapist, which I know is hard, and getting the right kind of therapy, which I know is hard, can really change everything. It did for me, at least, you know?
I talk about you a lot to my mom, and usually she'll be like, yeah, you know, one day, you know, you're gonna marry a guy, like the best guy. One day you're gonna have kids, right? Today she said everything but the guy. The first time I ever heard her say that. My mom doesn't have bad intentions. Sometimes I feel like on her worst days, she wants to scare people away. So she'll act out a little bit, but I'm not willing to tolerate that.
I hope they don't think we're a joke now.
Okay, so Megan says she's been talking to her mom, and her mom seems to be more open-minded in general. Yeah, Megan's back in it. Like, she's fully back in the Dana and her situation.
I can tell my parents, I want you to respect Dana. I want to bring Dana around. And if I feel like they can't do that, I won't bring you around.
I won't bring you around, but also I won't go around. Because, like, one of the rules of our relationship is, like, if my family won't tolerate my partner, I will tolerate my family. And also, listen to me when I say this. I won't accept toleration. I won't accept you tolerating my partner like you're doing a great, like a service or something. If you're not going to welcome my partner into the family, like they don't need to show up and I don't need to show up. You know, I'm curious what Megan's going to do if her family says like you can never bring Dana around.
There's just so many things out of our relationship that I'm not getting.
Ooh, Marita and Ashley. First of all, they look like sisters, which cracks me up. It happens. But also, sometimes I think we are trained to think like, what am I not getting out of a relationship? The question is like, what isn't the team getting? And then are we getting it separate? I want them to talk about how they work as a team, because I'm not hearing that language either.
Yeah, I guess you're being robbed of stuff by being with me.
Unfortunately, yeah, but I wouldn't be with you for 4 years if I didn't think that you had a heart. I know you do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to find what I need, and I want that from you, but you don't give it to me.
You're not compatible. That's what it is. People can't be what you need them to be. That would be living for someone's potential. They either are or they're not. There's nothing wrong with breaking up, even if you're married.
I don't ever want to make you sad.
I don't think Ashley's making her sad. I think the situation is making her sad.
I don't want to be friends for fucking ever. I want a relationship. I want love. I want romance.
I am finding it difficult to emotionally feel empathetic. I feel sympathetic. Like, I think logically they should just break up. But I think I'm confused by Marita. Like, her continuous insistence on making Ashley someone she's not. Like, you're trying to force your partner to be someone she's not. Like, that feels so weird. I mean, obviously I'm sad for Marita. I'm just not like embodied sad. I was much sadder for Pilar, but that was much more relatable, to be fair.
I just don't get it. I don't get why you can't do any of that for me.
Well, that's the problem, Marita. You're not understanding Ashley. You are deliberately using every brain cell in your brain to only think of yourself. That's what it is. That's probably why I don't care about Marita that much, like in terms of an embodied experience. Like, girly, you're the one asking your partner to be fundamentally different. It's weird. Like, breaking up is not the worst thing you guys could do, guys. The worst thing you could do is force somebody to fake who they are or to make someone feel bad for who they are. Ashley doesn't have to change. Like, she doesn't have to become romantic to be a good person. This is a preference. Break up. Or it's not even a preference, I guess. It's a values difference. I don't know. Break up. It just feels weird that Marita's like, I don't get why you can't do that for me. Ashley explained it. I feel like I understand Ashley more, and I don't even know this girl. Do you know what I'm saying? How have you been dating this girl for 4 years and you don't get why? It feels like it's so simple.
I feel like of anyone, if I was an outside perspective and I was watching us, I'd be like, that couple is fucked.
I mean, you know, girl, I'm just a stranger on the outside.
Good luck to them.
Why do you say that?
I don't know. It feels like the messiest.
Us?
Both of us. Like me and the Kyle situation, and then you and Megan. I'm like, there's no way they're leaving this together.
Well,
I just feel bad for Dana. You know?
I do almost feel bad for Dana.
No.
Sometimes, like when I was with Megan, I was like, Dana's the problem. And now I'm like, was Megan the problem?
No. Yes, everyone's the problem. Megan and Dana both are the problem. Everyone's the problem. Everybody on this whole show is the problem. The question is, who's more of the problem? Well, first, Megan's lack of backbone and values, and Dana's toxic cycles and continuing that toxic cycle. Everybody's the problem, guys. Who's more of the problem? I mean, look, this is what I say, and I mean this personally, and this is my lived experience for me. It takes two to be in a toxic relationship. Healthy people don't date toxic people. Healthy people see the red flags and they get out. Healthy people might go on 2 to 3 dates, might entertain it, might even do 2 to 3 months, but healthy people do not get into toxic relationships. It takes 2 to tango. The question is, are you resilient enough and focused enough to get out of it to start your health journey?
I'm at a point that I am so distrusting of her. I don't know that there's anything she could say that would like make me feel better.
Also, didn't Megan tell Dana she was like in love with Haley? Or she said she slept with Haley and there's feelings? Yeah, she told Dana she was in love with Haley. Now I'm confused. So did she lie to Haley to kind of like save face? Was this something in her background that was taught to her? Some people think lying to people to save their feelings is better. I do not.
Like I always used to watch Fast and the Furious, how they'd have the like little backyard barbecues, and everybody would come and they would like cheers to family, but like nobody was related. It was all like chosen family. They like did everything for each other.
Yeah, it's a nice thought. Like everyone together, everyone having a barbecue. The myth of a gathering of chosen family. The dilemma I find is like, just because they're your chosen family doesn't mean everyone else is each other's chosen family.
That's like how I want my life to be. That's what I would want.
I don't know why.
Because that's how we were raised. That's what I used to want too. Both grew up in West Asian households, so we want that feeling of family together.
I get it. Like, I know I've made mistakes too. I wouldn't be surprised if like there was things that you couldn't get past.
I don't think about it in that way. I think that like this is a very once in a lifetime experience, and just understanding how much damage it did to us. We're obviously both pissed off. We hooked up with our trial partners.
Okay, so now we're not questioning the hooked up thing.
It's not like you just hooked up with a random girl on like a drunk night.
You got matching tattoos.
I'm scared. I don't have the capacity to like move on from that.
You got matching tattoos, and now, see, Megan lied to Haley. So Megan did lie to Haley. She told Haley, I never loved you. I'm not in love with you. But that was a lie, right? It was a lie she had to make so she could be with Dana. But this is the toxicity of it all. Now Haley and Megan, we're over. It's over. You can't be together. You lied to each other. It's not healthy. It's over. And now Dana is playing hard to get. Now I don't know if I want to be with you. I'm telling you, Megan is a victim of people. She's a people pleaser. Megan is a mask people pleaser. That's what's happening. She's suffering from the people please. She wants a family so desperately. She wants community so desperately. But like, when you make chosen family, it doesn't mean that chosen family necessarily is the healthiest to be around. I think that's the problem is like, yeah, just because they're family doesn't mean you got to hang out with them.
You're not even like, I fucked up, I made a mistake. You're still saying you would do everything all over again. Why the fuck would I get over it? You haven't even like acknowledged that it was wrong. And how do I think you won't do it again if you think it was okay?
Has Dana admitted anything she did was wrong? Has Dana said, because Megan feels like she's taking this as like an experiment to learn from. And Dana feels like she's finding reasons to always make everybody else the bad guy but her.
If you really want to spend your life with me, you wouldn't put me in the position to have to live with that.
If they were really each other's partners, they wouldn't even be on this show. You know what I mean? It's interesting that what Megan did with Haley was too far, but being on the show wasn't too far.
I don't know if it's something I can forgive.
Bye, Dana. Bye. Megan, say bye to this girl and get into therapy ASAP. Yeah, it's just that Megan is so desperate for family. She's so desperate for chosen family, community, consistency. She doesn't get it from anybody. Nobody is a safe space for Megan, not even Megan. Girl needs therapy. Dana needs to go to therapy. Everyone, bye. Okay, Mel and Marie, all of them. Break up. Bridget and Kyle feel like the healthiest, and they're still so incompatible. It's crazy. They're like two kids, which is like, let's be artists, you know? Girl, be serious, please. Okay, this is episode 8. We have 2 more, and then we're done with this series. I cannot even fathom what's about to happen in these next 2 episodes, 9 and 10. That includes the reunion. We'll see what happens. With that said, please leave a comment, and send this to somebody else watching the series so we could hear from other people, because I would love to bring more people into the conversation. We just learned so much about ourselves by, really viewing real people. This is a real person's story. This is somebody's real life. And I am just so grateful at how many opportunities I get to learn about my own life through it. And also just to see where I've come from and where I've grown, because I think that even if we're in a healthier state of being, it's nice to remember like who you used to be, to give yourself some credit for how much you've grown. And I just like, whoa, sometimes watching these girlies reminds me of my 20s so vividly that I'm like, I'm just so grateful I'm not there anymore. And I love that every year we get further and further away from our toxic days. Okay, with that said, I will go ahead and leave it there. Talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.